What's going on, everyone? Manchester United are through to the final of the FA Cup against Manchester City for a second time in the second year. But is it deserved? Does anyone else feel embarrassed to almost celebrate that victory? Shocking, mad, weird game. And much like United, this review, should I say, is going to have no structure whatsoever because there's so many things to discuss. There's so much stuff to get into. Lads, I want to get your overarching feeling after that. Forget about any, individual analysis, tactical analysis, any of the savvy shit. I want the proper emotional reaction to that game and how you feel about it. So, Adam, please do kick things off. Where's your head at the minute after that game? Because, like I said, it's almost like it's weird to celebrate that, innit? In the way we did it.
It's never in doubt, was it? I know.
Oh my God.
I think that for the first time this season, I think up to that 70-minute mark, I was like, this is the first time I haven't felt any stress or anxiety around a Man United game.
Yeah.
I was like, we're in third gear, we didn't even play our best, and we were controlling the game. And then, of course, they get their goal, their first goal, and then a lucky second deflection. But that's on them, and they fought back. They did, and they deserved it. Because after that, they were the team that were playing. Our heads just dropped. And I just don't understand how players on that price can actually, and given the coaches, I know a lot of question marks around our fitness coaches and that, but we're a Premier League team, one of the big six as well. We should have some of the best players. Yeah, championship players are running more than our players, especially on that at the end, right in the about 120-minute mark when we did concede the fourth, which was thankfully taken off because of offside. Our players walked back. They walked.
Oh, it was bad one. Even Eriksen.
Yeah,
I was looking at Eriksen and he was quite literally doing. Sometimes you see them like sort of dog walkers in the park and they're doing a bit of a fast run with weights. And that's what he was doing into the box. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, you're a sub. You've come on as a sub. Yeah. You've not been playing the whole game. Where's the urgency? Where's the it seems like a lot of these players' heads are just completely gone in it. Like towards the end of this season.
Eriksen got tired,
completely gone.
Doing warm up. So
got tired during the warm up. Did you say, Dan? Yeah. Mad. Absolutely mad.
I can't think of a time ever. How are we in FA Cup final this season? And I'm not even happy to be in it because we're going to, if we play like that, we're going to be hammered. We're going to be hammered. Yeah. Even if City only have 2 days rest, they'd still walk the ball around the pitch around us. We're absolutely terrible. And I'm actually ashamed. I didn't celebrate any of that. I celebrated our goals, but I didn't celebrate the penalties at all. And the way Casemiro walked up, he just looks like he's not arsed anymore.
The side foot down the middle. Like, I've genuinely seen a 6-year-old take a better penalty on Godfrey Urban Park. Honestly, like the side foot, then just nonchalant. It's gone past nonchalant. It's almost just not arsed whatsoever. Mm-hmm. Dan, Roy Keane described the game as Manchester United looked like the championship team. Would you agree with that assessment after watching that?
Even worse than that. From the beginning of the game, I was like, even though we were dominating in bits and pieces, maybe we had more possession, but it seems like they do not have any clue what to do with that possession because they were just holding the ball back in their own half, and whenever it goes to the attackers, there is no move, no idea what to do, and no attacking moves were kind of a nil, and that's I'm like, after 60 minutes, I knew that this going to go till the end, and after 60 minutes, all the confidence level of the players dropped down. Like they were all jogging back and even losing the balls wastefully. And with the defenders, I'm saying it time and time again, like Onana, Maguire, they keep the ball too long and they just invite the pressure on them, and then they just lose the ball. I'm like nothing to describe on this game because that's so pathetic. And the worst thing was, like, I was watching this game with an Arsenal fan sitting beside me, and he enjoyed this game to the full. It was like I told him, like, you become a United fan and you will enjoy each and every game. Every game will be like worth your money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, so I was just going to say, there was a quote here that kind of perfectly encapsulates that. Again, from the one and only Roy Keane. I don't like what I see when I watch this Manchester United group. I don't see leaders. They give up chances. They give up goals. We've seen it all season, and they rode their luck today. Need to sneeze.
Bless you.
Sorry, mid-sneeze. Sam, I don't need to say anything. You go ahead, mate.
I mean, Brian said it in the chat. Where the fuck do you start with this? Like, where'd you start with it? Like,
I don't. There's no structure to it. There's nothing. Just
first half, we're all in the chat going, "Are we controlling the game here? Are we like I've not seen this before. This is insane. I've never seen this before." And we look comfortable, like literally comfortable. Coventry had a couple of chances, but nothing massive. And we're like, "Yeah, go in, get third, and we're fucking done. Game over." And then just the second half, I don't know. I don't know what happened. Like, we literally just, all the mistakes we've seen for most of the season, defensive line not dropping in, defensive line just pointing at players instead of fucking going to mark them and tackle them, goalkeeper just doing ridiculous shit, midfielders not arsed, not running, not putting commitment in, Rashford running into players continuously, and then the subs from Ten Hag, man, like taking Garnacho off, the biggest threat on the pitch. Why? He's done it 3 times and we've conceded every fucking time he's done it. Why? Taking Kobbie Mainoo off. Why? For Eriksen, whose legs are fucking done. He cannot do any defensive work. Why are you doing that? I don't understand it. If you're going to take a midfield off, take McTominay off. Take Bruno off. Take one of those off. Don't take Kobbie off. And then, yeah, just the subs were the thing. And then just the mentality of these players is gone. It's fucking gone.
It's so flaky.
They have no guts, no bottle, no fucking fortitude, nothing. Like, just nothing in them to go, we can fight back into this and we get that. All those days under Fergie, we'd fight back, come back last minute, winners, push through to the end. That's gone. Half of these players don't fucking deserve to be here. And I hope in the summer, whether Ten Hag goes or not, I hope 3/4 of these players fuck off as well. Casemiro, get to fuck with that penalty. It's fucking disgraceful to walk up in a final that you're losing and take that sort of penalty. Absolute fucking disgrace. But there's so many. I don't want to take over the time and stuff of other people speaking, but there's so long.
No, there is.
Go on for that.
There's so much to discuss. A lot being made about the subs, Adam. Obviously, I've just seen a stat actually that Statman Dave's put up. When Garnacho's been subbed off in the last month, we was 2-1 up against Liverpool, 3-2 up against Chelsea, and 3-0 up against Coventry, winning all 3 games. Was you kind of scratching your head when you brought off Mainoo and Garnacho? Also as well, just add to that, sorry. Do you think there's something maybe exterior outside of it, meaning the fitness, or I don't know, because you never know, do you, in them kind of circumstances?
No, you don't know. And I don't know if it's a case of he thinks these players have had so many minutes and he's worried if he loses them to injury, then we're absolutely screwed. We have no chance. Yeah. Like, part of me does understand why he done it, to like freshen it up a bit, maybe, take these players off so they're fit for the next game as well. But like the energy drop off when we brought them on, it was like taking the one spark, the catalyst out of the team, and then putting a snail and a dinosaur in there. Honestly, they were so slow. And with their back, I suppose when they're running back to defend, they just don't have it. You pointed out Eriksen doesn't have the legs. He doesn't. And he was walking back at a snail's pace. In the last minute when they conceded, I was screaming at the TV like, this is a disgrace. And it was a disgrace. I don't even know where you can defend it anymore. Like, I don't think does he trust his bench?
Again, like, do you know the end of the Liverpool game where it was so scattered and there was no positional discipline. It was just like every man brought Forson on for a midfielder as well. It was just like everywhere, wasn't it? It was just fucking chaos. There was no structure at all.
No. The structure completely went to it, like that Liverpool game. And we almost lost it because of that. Because we lost the structure, we almost lost the game at the end. And that actually does come down to the manager at the end of the day. But like, I know a lot of people will point the finger at the manager, but a lot of finger has to be pointed at the players as well. Because today, there's no way they should be going into a game like that, giving up a 3-goal lead against a championship side in a FA Cup semi-final. A semi-final, and we throw a 3-goal lead like that easy. And again, a lot of question marks. Rashford as well. Like,
he did a bit of a Saka job today, didn't he? A little bit, reminded me of Bukayo Saka. Did a little bit of a limp off, a little bit of a. I'm just. It speaks volumes, right? When every single one of us on here right now are more disappointed going through almost and actually winning the game comfortably, which what it should have been after 60, 70 minutes. I don't know when they scored the first goal, but I'm pretty sure it was around that mark. And we're sat here and we're saying it's embarrassing. I feel, honestly, after that, when we scored that penalty, I celebrated because obviously passion and emotion. But in reality, after it, I sat there and I was like, we didn't deserve to win that game. You cannot go up 3-0 against a championship side, concede 3 in the last 20 minutes, concede a last-minute winner, and then get chalked off by like an inch, you're talking, for offside. Miss the first penalty, and then still win the penalty shootout. No one can sit there and say, fantastic, well done, lads. Great, congratulations, well done. It's actually embarrassing, really. And the amount of goals we're conceding as well. Get on this. After these 3 goals from Coventry.
I was just about to say that then. Yeah, go on. Man
United have conceded 29 goals in 17 games in all competitions in 2024. Shocking. Absolutely shocking. But Dan, it's nothing.
What's that work out to a game? Hold on, let me do the math.
29 goals in 17 games. If you times 17 by 2, that'd be 34. So it's not far away. Probably about 1.8, something like that.
1.7 goals per game. So over a goal and a half per game we concede.
Shocking as well. Dan, if we're trying to find any positives out of this, which I know there's a lot of negatives, don't get it twisted. But Onana, I thought was decent today. What do you think about his performance and Bruno Fernandes as well?
With Onana, I'm still not convinced because the price tag, the expectation, he has still not reached that level. Because the only big thing, the positive thing when we bought Onana was like he is a good passer of the ball, and which I still couldn't see like this. His passing is making any difference in the play. And also he keeps the ball for too long. I've said it again and again, and I really don't like this with the defenders like Maguire who are very slow. You cannot keep the ball for too long in the defense line because you know that the attackers. This has become a kind of a positive for the opponents because they know that when United's defender has the ball, they had a chance to steal the ball and then they have a really good chance. But in our case, it's not the case. But with Onana, with the saves, we still, to his side, I think he has still not faced that kind of a saves which De Gea makes, like a diving or a kind of a flying saves. But yeah, his positioning has been improved.
Saved the penalty though.
Yeah.
Couldn't do.
Yeah, and his positioning, to advantage of Onana, I think his positioning has been improved because at the beginning of his career at United, he has been seen a lot of like kind of taking a gamble. Like whenever an opponent takes a shot, he just goes towards one side, just take a gamble. But that has improved. But with Bruno Fernandes, I think his peak point we can only see when he's more disciplined in the midfield rather than just running around all over the place. And you've seen every attack and every defense, every counter attack he's facing, he's the first one to run around all the areas of the field, and that only creates more gap on the other side. As I mentioned, Nick, in the last show which we were talking, like the only game which we have seen him disciplined was when Carrick was managing the game. Like he was playing kind of a more disciplined role, and that is really required in Bruno Fernandes. Then only you can see the peak of him. Otherwise, you will see him making a lot of mistakes, lot of wrong passes, and just running all over the pitch. And we are actually lucky that he's not getting injured that much. And but soon a time will come when he will get more often injured because of these many runnings he's making now. But yeah, the positives I can see, the youths are the only positives which we have been talking about like for the past 3-4 weeks. And I'm really surprised that we could have brought in more youths in today's game rather than bringing on Eriksen, because he's not the future of the team.
It's the polar opposite, isn't it, Dan? You bring it on an old age pensioner, really, when you've got youngsters on your bench. People might say experience, craft, creativity, that kind of stuff. But when you look at him off the ball, fuck me, he struggles.
Yeah, and the thing that really hurts me is like I think Ten Hag is trying to make senior players happy by putting his own job on the line. Because I think he could have brought in more younger players than because you see the whole difference between when he brought on Eriksen and Ahmad. You could see like what difference Ahmad was making and what difference Eriksen was making. So that's the clarity you can get when you bring on the youth player. You will get something out of them rather than just depending on a player who is almost at the end of his career. So that's like really disgusting. I think he will eat up his job. These kind of decisions.
Eriksen's not the issue himself. Bringing him on for Kobbie Mainoo, who's playing as your 6, and putting Eriksen in a 6 position, that's suicide. How are you putting the slowest, least physical midfielder you have in the 6 position? How? Like, how does that make sense? Why are you not dropping Scott McTominay back there? Why are you not dropping Bruno back there and putting Eriksen in the 10 or the 8? You're playing him in the 6.
That seems to be what he's doing, like, quite a lot, innit? He seems to be bringing him on there. And we're going to get onto the injuries and the manager and certain decisions in a moment. I just want to read out some comments because there's quite a few. And I'm interested to see everyone's reaction to this. Lewis says more like Rashford finished. Agree with that. I think most of us would. Brian Casey in the chat saying, evening, lads. How do you begin to dissect that shit show? Oh, mate, it's difficult. It's difficult. Charlie Malman, well, the game was 3-1 for a moment. Superfly says, now we know why Erik ten Hag leaves subs late, because he can't trust them. That also I would agree with. Players throwing another manager under the bus, get rid. Taking off Mainoo or Eriksen when we just conceded the first goal was not the right change to make. Completely changed our midfield. And we've also said that a few times, haven't we? In a lot of games when he's taken them off. Manchester United fan says that penalty shootout win probably saved Ten Hag. Definitely saved Ten Hag. I think 100%. He was gone.
I don't even know if it saves him. I think even if he gets to the final, unless we comprehensively beat City in a convincing way, which ain't going to happen, he's done. Like, it's over. There's no coming back from that. You can't play against a championship team in an FA Cup semi-final and surrender a 3-goal lead and barely go through on penalties. You can't. You can't.
But also the players need to take responsibility as well.
Absolutely.
100%.
Get rid of them. Get rid of them all.
To do that when you're 3-0 up against Coventry is so embarrassing. I've just seen a really good comment. UTFI encapsulates it perfectly. I've never been so embarrassed to be a Man United fan. Yeah. Money. Absolute money. That. Kamikaze football. That's Erik ten Hag style. He's clueless.
Can we just give a shout out? One player I thought was good, Harry Maguire. That guy put a fucking shift in today, by the way. Yeah. Scored a goal. I've got some stats here. 100% tackles won, 100% ground duels won, 88% pass accuracy, 5 out of 8 aerial duels, 91 passes completed, 3 shots on a goal. And that guy put a shift in. And he's injured. He's playing with a fucking injury. He held his groin throughout the fucking thing. So he's playing through with an injury, clearly. He scores a goal. I think he's played left wing in the last sort of 10 minutes of extra time. And he was doing a better job than Rashford. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Shout out to Maguire, by the way. Yeah, Maguire, by the way. Shout out to him because he's been fucking great.
Typing says, I wouldn't waste my money. 6-0 to Man City. Humiliation yet to come together. Embarrassing. Rashford was poor again today. He should have went off instead of Garnacho. His decision making is dreadful. Miles says, I don't think you can blame the manager today. First 70 minutes, we were as comfortable as I've ever seen us. The players on the pitch should have been able to protect a 3-goal league. I see that side of it as well, though.
Both sides.
I do see that side of it
as
well.
Both sides, yeah.
But the subs, the manager makes the subs. Again, I don't know if Kobbie maybe is fitness. I don't know. It's hard to speculate. If you do the math, that's 3 goals a game pretty much. Do you know if any of the players will be back for the final? Martinez, Shaw, Varane, Mount, Martial. No one knows at this point. No one has a fucking clue.
The thing is, if they are back for the final, which is in a month, 25th of May.
Yeah, it'll be start of June, won't it?
25th of May. 25th of May, I think the date is.
Is that when the final is?
Yeah. I saw it on the screen before. So that's a month. So by that point, are we going to rush these players back to get to this final and then risk injuring them again so they get a long-term injury over the summer and then they're not ready for... Do you know what I mean? Just fuck them off. Just say, they're not available for the rest of the season and just rehab them until we can figure out what the fuck is going on in our training and our medical department that's just causing these injuries because it's not working. And Ten Hag said in a press conference, we know what the problem is. Do something about it. Fix it. Do something, man. 60 injuries is ridiculous. It's fucking ridiculous.
It's nearly 70 now.
Fucking hell.
All right, let's discuss the elephant in the room then, because we've gone over this manager, tactics, decisions in game, certain things multiple times. But Adam, when you watch, I say a performance like that because 60-70 minutes, it was absolutely fine. But when you see a team completely collapse like that in the last 20 minutes and be all over the place in extra time, is that more on the manager or is that more on the players?
I think it's a bit of both, because it's not the first time we've been in this position. It happened against Chelsea, it did. And it's happened once or twice in other games too, as far as I can remember. Like, the managers should be able to, they should have a training plan. Okay, what do we do if this happens? Man City have it. They do. Every team has a plan for depending what situation the game goes into. If you concede and you're winning 2-1 and you're into extra time, but we know not VAR, sorry, but the new rules with added time. There's a lot more added time than there used to be. Then you have a game plan to manage that game out. We have no game plan, and I think that comes down to the manager. But some responsibility does come to the players as well, because seeing them walk back when you're meant to be defending as a unit in the last few minutes, that's indefensible. It is, for me. You should know that you have to run back, throw everything. You have to throw your body. It's a final is on the line. It is. Your place in the final is on the line. Yet these players are walking back. So I think it's both ways. It is. Managers should have a game plan to manage out a game, and we used to be really, really good at this. Like, even under Ollie, in that
Jose
manage games out.
Jose was fantastic at it. He was fantastic at it.
Yeah. And that was a period 1-0 up. I remember now when we're 1-0 up, or if we're leading by even 2 or 3 goals with 20 minutes to go, I'm not going to be relaxed. I can't be relaxed anymore. Meanwhile, when I know things are bad under Mourinho, but you felt comfortable managing that game out because you knew what we were going to do, and we knew that we would defend for our lives. But now our players aren't doing it, so it's on the manager and it's also on the players. Which one, was more responsible? But we've seen it constant with these players. It's the same group as well that are there. There's a few of the same names, and I think you do need a cultural reset. And I put today 50-50 blame on the players and manager. And it's hard lines when we're having this talk and we've reached the final. Honestly, it's telling.
Dan, I don't want you to beat around the bush. I don't want you to sit on the fence on this one. The manager, after you've just watched that, what do you think? No sitting on the fence.
Yeah, if it is 1 year, then I would have made some excuses, but it's already 2 years, so there is no excuse for this. And it's been repeating. The very frustrating thing about Ten Hag is, like, he's not changing his tactics. I mean, he's not changing himself. When he knows that these things are not working out, he's not trying something else. Try something, at least do some changes in the team. But time and time again, every week in, week out, you see the same lineup, a kind of a same style, same formation, or the same substitutions. Because you've seen that even when we closely see the substitution, you see he's not. He has no, for himself. He's not opening up the options, because you see Rashford, he's not changing him. Bruno Fernandes always plays, and Højlund is the only option. So the only player he changes every time is the right winger. And with that, what changes in the plan you can make in the game? And the only thing he changes is the midfield. And in any other game, with any other club, the midfielders are the last ones to be substituted, because they are the spine of your team. They control the game, because all your attack and the defending is based upon your midfield, and you just put the hand on the midfield, and that totally disturbs the whole play. But yeah, I think I'm not sure how can I say that, but we need a change.
Yeah. Like a baby with a shitty diaper, we definitely do need a change. I've just seen the tweet of the season, by the way. I feel like I've just shoplifted at Oxfam and got away with it. That is the perfect way to describe. That is the perfect way to describe.
It feels like you've kicked a child in his face and taken away his candy, doesn't it?
Yeah,
that's what it's like.
It really does. You've got the candy, but you're looking at the kid. He's crying his eyes out, and you're like, "Oh, I'm not too sure about this."
He's got a big night tick over his head where your trainer's just fucking imprinted in his face.
Sam, please go on, Dan.
To add to my last point, I think till the half of the season we were, giving some favor to Ten Hag, like saying like he's got so many injuries. But the thing is, like, he's not changing his tactics. So that's the only thing that really concerns me, and that's why I I'm more leaning towards a new manager than keeping him for the next season.
To play devil's advocate, Sam, and please remember people who's watching and also people in the Discord. Devil's advocate, not me saying it, just trying to balance the argument out and a little bit of debate. 3 finals in 2 years, one may say to you. A chance, again, quotes, chance to win another trophy. Should that also be brought into the discussion?
When you say chance, is it like me fighting Mike Tyson chance? That's the kind of chance we're talking about.
Probably more me pulling Jennifer Aniston in a prime chance, I would probably say.
Okay, so 0.001%, like around those numbers. Yeah. I think last season, some of the stuff, the results and the end of it sort of lied to us a little bit, because in that Carabao Cup final just before that, we had a really horrendous run of games. Like, we got away with a lot because of Rashford pulling out goals every single game. The Carabao Cup final itself, I think we weren't great, but Newcastle equally weren't as good either. And we managed to we played well in the first half, and in the second half we kind of just sort of took our foot off the pedal, didn't we, and got away with it, really. I think the occasion got to Newcastle more than anything. And then, towards the end of the season, there was like spurts and starts of like stuff, but nothing really concrete, and we sort of limped across the line at the end of the season. So I think the trophy is nice and finishing third is great, I think they lied to us a little bit. There were some problems there, but we thought, no, get to summer, we'll address these issues, get some players in, and we'll go and we'll push. And when we got the signings that we did, we were like, okay, we might be able to do something here. And then since then, it hasn't happened. Like, it hasn't happened. And I think I said to you on the previous multitude of issues. The injuries is one thing, which is horrendous and ridiculous. And I don't know how any club puts up with 60 plus injuries. And there's something needs to be looked at, whether he's training them too hard and pushing them to the point of breaking, whether the medical staff is rushing them back, whatever it is, that needs to be looked at, because that's a problem. The ownership change and the stuff going around on that, we've not had a recruitment team for God knows how long, and now we're getting one in, Dan Ashworth, Jason Wilcox, oh my brother, they're finally getting in play, so that's important. And then the manager has to take responsibility for a lot of things. Substitutions, wrong ones, and he's doing the same ones over and over again and making the same mistake. What's the definition of insanity? Repeating the same thing, expecting different results. Can't continue. You also can't continue with picking, like Dan said, picking the same players over and over again and expecting them to perform when they're not. Rashford, not performing this season. Hasn't done it all season. Drop him. Play Ahmad. Play Garnacho. Play Forson.
When you look at Ahmad when he came on.
Play anyone.
I mean,
play
was a couple of issues, but like, how has he not got more game time, innit?
Play Forson. Play Toby Collier. Play, you know what I mean? Play anybody. Yeah. Just try, like Dan said, try something. Try something else, because whatever you're doing is not working, and he's continued on with it for most of the season. That's on him. He needs to take that on board, because you've not changed it, and then you're expecting it to change yourself, and it's not doing it. And then the second part is on the players. Adam said it. These players need to wake up. Like, players we've derided and had a go at for the season not being good enough, McTominay and Maguire, yes, they have their limitations, and they have their limits of like how good they can be, but their mentality and their desire is better than most of the team, I would say. I've just seen a tweet from someone at the end after the penalty shootout. Anthony was cupping his hands to his ears at the Coventry crowd. Harry Maguire was going around and shaking the players' hands. So that's the difference.
That was going to be my next.
Yeah, that's the difference. Some of these players' mentalities is not right. It's not right. Rashford, Anthony, Bruno at times, several other players, their mentality is not there. They need to go. And then you need to, obviously, Maguire and McTominay are not going to win you a Champions League title, but as backup players, as players around the club, I think they're needed, because they have that desire and that push, and they'll perform for you no matter what. So I think there's a lot of issues, and I think last year lied to us a little bit, to go back to the original question. I know it went all around the houses, but I think last year lied to us a little bit, and now we're seeing what was starting to crack at the end of last season. We're starting to see it fully fall apart now, and there's going to be a lot to do this summer, with or without Ten Hag. There's a lot to do.
I mean, Adam, we're embarrassed as it is anyway, coming away from that, as we've already discussed, but for Anthony to turn around to Coventry players and cup his ears, does that not really kind of signal where we're at as a club at the minute? Anthony, who's probably got 1 goal and 1 assist in the past 12 months, and didn't really impact a game against a tired Coventry team, to turn around and do that when you just scrape the barrel against Coventry, that's fucking embarrassing, isn't it, man?
Yeah, I'm sure his wages alone are more than every single Coventry player's added up per week. So,
Yeah.
and then you're doing that to a championship side, and you know what? I'm more like, isn't it telling where we're not defending our own kind of player in a situation like that for winning, and like, you know, we're actually defending the team that lost, who we were playing against, because you can't fault them. They actually played well. They did, and they deserved it. They deserved that win. We shouldn't be in the final. And Sam pointed out Maguire there, showed up, big game performance he did. I wouldn't blame him at all for probably any of the goals, you know. And to go and then shake their hands and acknowledge the effort that they put in, like that's just class. It is, despite, and like what he's gone through in his time as well from the fans. Like, he's been scapegoated a lot of the time. And I know I've been one of his biggest critics.
Never complained. Never went out on social media. Never did an interview and like talk shite. Never did any of it.
No, never done that. Kept quiet. Worked on his football. And then I suppose he's played his way back into the team as well. Like, okay, injuries have kind of probably sped that up. But he's performing for us. And he's the only one, I think, aside from Onana, out there that I'd probably compliment today, and I think that they played well, because everyone else, like, I'd never actually seen it before. Somebody pointed it out on Twitter as well. After we won that shootout, not barely any of our players celebrated. Usually you see them running down to the fans, running down to the goalkeeper, the taker, if they scored the winner. Didn't happen because they know fine well they don't deserve it. They do. And that's telling. We're into a final, and even the players felt embarrassed, and they should feel embarrassed.
Yeah. I'm going to read out a couple of quotes from Ten Hag, and then I want to ask you something towards the end with a one-word answer.
Before
Dan,
you do, Nick,
Ten Hag's come out.
Before you do, my Coventry mate Lucian, who was on the preview, he's just texted me saying, "Wasn't a hard day. Couldn't be prouder to be a Coventry fan. Those 60 seconds when we thought we won were the best minute of my life."
And that's what it means to a Coventry fan, man. Like, you know what I mean? That's what it means to them. Their team gave fucking everything and almost won it. And that's what it means to them. And we're like on this thing, Man United, we're through to a final, and we feel shit about it. It just fucking sums it up, doesn't it? But yeah, sorry.
I'd love to see how the fans in Wembley feel as well, like the travelling fans, because they must just be getting a pint and just sneaking off into a corner and being like, yeah, I can't. I always feel embarrassed to kind of celebrate that. But from the manager, Dan, it was an incredible game, a strange game too. We had total control for so long and then gave it away in the last part of the game. We did show resilience to win the penalty shootout. We had control for 75 minutes and had to give Coventry a compliment for what they did in the last 15 minutes, and then the last one on mentality. We can't say this group doesn't have the right mentality because they showed character today, but in the final part there was a lack of discipline. What are your thoughts on that?
I can't see that as a lack of discipline. It's a lack of commitment. More of a lack of commitment. But to the credit to Coventry fans and players. If I was the manager there, I would have asked our players to give them the guard of honor.
Yeah.
That the way they played, and I would even ask our players to just go and clap for the fans as well, because they deserve that. But yeah, Anthony's actions doesn't seem right. But yeah, good that we have players like Maguire who are also, I mean, more matured enough.
Yeah. But we're doing it, Dan. Now we've come full circle from criticising Maguire so much to almost saying he's the only leader on the pitch.
Yeah, like we used to. I mean, so much not banter, but we used to be so angry.
I think that's fair. I'd probably say banter. Yeah.
So angry with Maguire and McTominay, and now we have like totally turned upside down, and we are just praising McTominay and Maguire. In the last show, we even mentioned like we are missing McTominay. So that's how they have improved themselves, and that should be the case for each and every player. But seems totally different. But now I think with Ten Hag, whatever he's saying on the press conference doesn't make sense. It's totally different from what's happening on the pitch, and it's like if it is not the case of the mentality, then why it is happening again and again? Last 4 games, we are dropping all the. I mean, we were in a place of winning games, and then just suddenly go like from kind of a high to the bottom, and in the last last 10-15 minutes we just switch off, and it's like we have even lost 7 points in the last 3 games, 3 Premier League games, and that will cost us the top four chance as well. So it's totally about the mentality, and I'm not sure what actually the player needs to be cheered up, because everything is on the plate. They are getting the more salaries, they are getting the game time, they are getting all the support from the, from the fans, and everything is there. But don't know what it's making them to, not switch on and just switch off in the middle of the game, and they're totally unacceptable. It's like they need. Are they waiting for the game time to reduce, maybe from 90 minutes to 60 minutes?
Yeah.
So that
If the
could
game
be
was
the only-
45 minutes, probably winning the league the way we played. To be
Yeah,
honest.
exactly. So yeah, but whatever. I can't blame Ten Hag also with the press conference, because he's out of his words, and the press
Yeah.
conference people will be asking him questions, and he has to blabber something, and now he's doing that. But yeah, it's like can't do anything with that press conference nowadays when Ten Hag goes and face these kind of questions, because
Nice.
players are not performing well. But the only thing with Ten Hag is the substitutions. But whatever is happening on the pitch is on the players. I would maybe blame them 70% and 30% Ten Hag. But yeah, first it's on the players, because they are not turning up and they are not switching on, and not performing to their standards. So yeah, Ten Hag has to face all the blame. But yeah, he has to. 30% on his side, but still he's out of his words. And these days in press conference, he's blabbering something from nowhere, like it's randomly putting up quotes. So yeah, what he can do else.
Oh god. I just seen Adam do something behind the camera there. He's probably resending that P45 that he put on Maguire's seat. long time ago.
He's handed it over to Eric Ten Hag. He's like going, no.
Yeah, he's just like slow.
Yeah.
That says Eric. Just cross Harry out and put Eric on there.
Sorry.
Yeah, there you go. Just take it slightly back. In all seriousness though, Sam, we still have like the rest of the season to play.
Oh, do
We've
we?
still got 6 or 7.
Really?
Yeah. Unfortunately, 6 or 7 games left of the season. McTominay walking gingerly through the mix zone, so he looks like he's pulled his groin again. Marcus Rashford went off with an injury, which some people might not say is a bad thing, but you know it is what it is. It's another player missing.
Maguire.
Still have Kambwala, and I mean Maguire. I don't know what's going on with him as well.
He was holding his groin through the entire second half.
Oh my god!
It's,
Literally.
Adam pointed it out, and then who's the young kid? Louis Jackson? The young centre back.
Louis Jackson.
Yeah, he was warming up, and apparently, but then it got to penalties, so they didn't bother. So he didn't look like good either.
It's quite literally crumbling in it towards the end of the season. Like that's not even a thing. It's everything. It's just like falling down on itself, and somehow we're in an FA Cup final. I don't know how to kind of sum that up, but
I know that a lot of reactionary YouTubers and people on Twitter and stuff like that just play the kids, and in reality, you're like, no, you can't chuck kids into a situation like this and just ruin them. Like it's just not, it's not doable. However, I do think we need to give other players opportunities now. We've got nothing to play for in the league. Let's face it, we ain't getting top 4. Top 5 is not a thing anymore because Arsenal and City dropped out of the Champions League, so I think it goes to Italy, I believe. I think that's not a thing anymore. So why not just try and get some joy out of the season and play some decent football and change some stuff up and play some players who deserve opportunities? Ahmad, big person. Fucking put Bayindir in there. He's had no game. He's had one game, the poor guy. Like, just fucking throw him a bone and just give him a fucking game. For God's sake. Louis Jackson, give him an opportunity. Harry Amas has been on the bench quite a bit. Give him an opportunity. Like, we've got no fit fullbacks.
Give Lacey a chance.
Lacey, like, give some kids opportunities. Give them, like, see what they've got. Like, we've got nothing to play for. There's no pressure on them at this point in the season because we ain't going to finish anywhere decent. So just give them some opportunity, see what they got. Are they good enough? Do they need a loan? Can they be brought into the first team? Just see what they have. Ahmad, another example. And give these players that have played, like Dallo and Wan-Bissaka have just been played into the ground. Give them a rest. Give them fucking time off. And just give these players opportunities. That's what I would do with the rest of the season. He's not going to do it. Like, there's no way in hell he's going to do it. But personally, that's what I would do. And that's what I would use the time to look at your youth prospects. Look at the fringe players who are fighting for minutes and see what they've got. And give them, go, right, you wanted time all this time. I'm going to play you 3 games in a row. Let's see what you got. But he's never going to do it. It's not going to happen. So,
no.
Oh,
Nick,
right.
I've noticed something as well on social media. A lot of people are criticizing fans who kind of walked out after Coventry got their goal, but it's telling. Our fans were embarrassed. They were
Yeah.
embarrassed by it, and the players. I hope they feel just as embarrassed as well. They should feel more embarrassed. Like Jay, Jay Motti, he ended up putting the tweet up there, ran down the stairs in Wembley after Coventry got their winner, son crying. Next thing shouts if it's offside, ran back, went on pens. City in the final, we're shit, but fuck it. I know a good few people said that they did leave after that, and I probably would have done the same.
If you think about some of the games this season, it's been utter madness, and not in a good way. It's been really, really crazy, some of the games we've had. And I think when we do the big season review, it's going to be so interesting looking back and reflecting on some of the performances.
I think Dr. Saint might need to make a rehab appearance for that one. I think it might turn into Real Red's rehab. Cause...
There is a lot of stuff to get off our chest after this. There's so much to talk about.
From the neutral perspective, the games we are those are like
anyone watching it, everyone tunes into United now because they know it's just going to be fuckery. It's just going to be absolute madness.
It's like watching
top 10 games of the season would definitely go with United games.
Yeah.
It's like watching Batman and a Joker film, but it's just all the Joker, just all the time, just blowing shit up and letting stuff go. And there's no Batman to save anything. It's just like, let's just see the anarchy. That's every United game.
Yeah. Right. We're going to end it with this, lads. Okay. I know beating around the bush, just a simple one-word answer. And there's 3 questions that I'm going to ask you. Okay. So 1, who was the worst player on that pitch today? Adam.
Oh, it's a difficult one. I'd say who started. I would probably, it might seem a bit harsh, but probably Rashford. I would have said Dallo too, but Dallo, he looked good going forward at points, but then it just went to shit. It did. And the positional play, but I'd probably say Rashford, and in terms of sub, Eriksen.
Dan?
Yeah, same Rashford, because I think he was the poorest one. I mean, remaining others are all like, they were all bad, but on the same levels.
Did you see the pass he did? There was a certain point he did a pass and he just went to the corner flag, and I was like, oh my god. Oh my god. Sam?
I'd probably say Rashford as well.
Everyone in unison there.
I would say Rashford, but I think there was a lot of players who deserve some call out for their lack of mentality and lack of sort of conviction in the team. I think the only player I won't have any slander against is Harry Maguire. Everybody else can get it.
Oh yeah,
in my opinion.
Yeah, I think most people would probably agree with that, which is crazy to sit here and saying that in itself. But who was the best player on the pitch?
Maguire.
Yeah.
Yeah, Maguire, maybe Kobe as well.
Yeah. Maguire, I'd probably agree with that. Adam, yes or no, should Erik ten Hag go?
I'm going to go with how I'm feeling now. I can't really see the light at the tunnel. I'm going to go yes.
Yes.
He's even broken me.
We're done. Call it off. Fucking, yeah. Everything's done. We're finished. Dan?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, with conviction as well. Erik Samhad?
Not yet.
Not yet? After that, you say not yet?
Get rid of half the players. Get rid of the players. And if he's still doing that, he's gone. I think that's not coaching. That is player mentality. That is weak player mentality.
It is, I agree.
Like,
but even
obviously,
his subs,
his subs, he's at fault for that. Yeah, he's absolutely at fault. But that's mentality. That the players he brought on, maybe Forsen aside, they should be able to handle a 3-0 lead. Eriksen, well-experienced player, knows what the fuck's up. Played for Tottenham, played for Inter Milan, played in the Premier League, knows what he's doing. Antony, he's played in the Premier League for the entire season and a half. He should know what the fuck's going on. He's playing the Eredivisie. He knows what a 3-0 lead looks like. Like, there's no excuse for many of them. The only excuses you can have is like Forsen and maybe Ahmad, because he's not had that much experience. The other ones that should be fully know what the fuck is up, and they capitulated, every single one of them. So the players are at fault for I'd say 80% of that was the players, and then 20% is Ten Hag. And I think the season's going to go like this for the rest of the season. This is just how it's going to be.
Dragging our asses.
I want to see what happens under Ineos with the restructure, the transfers and stuff like that. I want to give him that opportunity. If he fails at that, then yeah, kick him, gone, find somebody else. But I think he's come in under a broken system and continue to operate under a broken system. And I don't think he's been given an opportunity yet properly. And I think he deserves that. But I might be in the minority. I can't argue against you, Dan, Adam, anybody in the chat who wants him out. I can't argue against it. I can't be like, you're wrong, because I understand it. I do, and I can't argue against anybody who wants him out.
I mean, for me, it's not about the failures. I think it's more of like his stubbornness. Like he's not willing to change himself, or maybe trying something different. That is only making me to go the other side of trying something else. If he's not changing himself according to the situation, and when he's trying to, I mean, copy the same style from Ajax to here with the different set of players, which is never going to happen. And he's trying this continuously, and that's where we also, I mean, tactically discussed in the last show, like, which is creating so much gap in the middle, and we have seen that time and time again, and he's not willing to change that tactics. Maybe after summer, if we get that kind of players who sets and fits in his system, then maybe he can be, I mean, he can maybe improve. But yeah, at this point, if he's not changing his tactics or his being more stubborn, then definitely I'm not going to stick around with him for a longer time.
The only thing is, if he gets these players in his system, we're going to restart the system again, because he's ditched it. He's thrown it out the window after his first few games when he did come in. And now we're going to restart that again. That's the only thing that bothers me, because this new idea, his new system that he's trying to install here isn't working. So why not just stick, like we've seen it, Jurgen Klopp done it when he went to Liverpool. They went through a very rough time, they did, at the start. But it eventually, Arteta too. But look, it's what happens here. I don't know what the saying is, something about flowers anyway, but you get your flowers at the end of the day if you stick with it, you do. But he's kind of thrown it up in the air, and I know there has been a lot of injuries and that has kind of impacted everything. But to kind of get these new players in, it just feels like a complete restart again. It does.
Oh,
what do you think,
how
Nick?
are we here again, lads?
What do you think? Nick, give us your opinion. Where are you at?
He wants Ragnick back.
Oh man, I just can't. I don't know how you can scrape through on penalties against Coventry after blowing a 3-0 lead and sit here and seriously discuss keeping him. I can't. And I know the players are at fault. I would also get rid of the players just to add to that. But there has been way too many performances. Even when people talk about players being missing and stuff, which is valid in its own sense. But last season, even with everybody fit, we still got beat by City 6-3. We still got beat by Arsenal. We still got beat by these teams. We still got played off the park by Brighton. Like, there's context with injuries, but there's also, you can look at many, many results and many games that we've played this season where it has been horrendous. And what I don't get is, when I watched that game before, for 70 minutes, we controlled it. Coventry hardly caused us anything whatsoever. Why have you not set up the team like that, in that controlled manner, when we played teams near the bottom of the table like Burnley?
Do you notice,
straight
though,
past 1-0.
Do you notice, because we had Casemiro and Harry Maguire, we sat back a bit. There wasn't that gap between the midfield and the defenders.
Yeah.
So it was
just pure control, though. Like, it was nice.
But that's
to
what I'm
see,
saying,
you know what I
because
mean?
there wasn't this massive thing. So anytime Coventry tried to play into that bit of the park where normally there's acres of space, there wasn't any. Like, Casemiro come out cleaning up, Harry Maguire get his head on it, people would like clean up, and then second half he decided to abandon that completely and just throw tail to the wind and decide, I'm going to try and like score some goal, and just fucking chucked it away.
Bizarre.
I was like, what the why have you done that?
I imagine Dave Brailsford, Ratcliffe, and everyone else watching there, I don't give a shit about the ugly fucking weirdo in Avram. Yeah, I don't care about them, but they would have been sat there watching that saying, this ain't sustainable. You can't keep playing like this against teams, because, you know, your luck will run dry, and it has done in a lot of the games. You know, we've been up in the past 3 games and lost them or drew them. So, yeah, to be honest, I just want the season to end. I think everyone who's in this Discord now, everyone in the chat would probably agree we just want the fucking season to end, and let's just get to summer and let Ineos do the work and take it from there. No one's asked about the rest of the season. No one's asked about the FA Cup because you're probably going to get smashed off City. No one gives a fuck.
Yeah.
And that's just as simple as that.
We can look forward to summer. I know Adam and Dan don't give a shit 'cause they're not England fans, but we can go watch Gareth Southgate disappoint us in the Euros.
Disappointment from all angles, innit? Unfortunately.
Fucking hell.
I've already started considering these games as friendlies. So.
Yeah, exactly that. So we'll just take it as it is. I've got to go film pros and cons shortly, so
Good luck with that
is
one.
going to be very interesting. I might give it an hour or two before I even try to comprehend what the fuck has just happened on that pitch. But thank you very much to everyone who's tuned in after that game. Please do subscribe to the channel if you're new or you just joined us from wherever it is. Smash a like on the video. Thank you to Adam, Dan, and Sam as well. Yeah, it is what it is. Go on.
Special guest tomorrow. I'm not going to reveal who it is yet.
Oh, yeah.
But special guest. We're not going to drop... Should we drop it tomorrow evening or should we wait? We'll figure it out. But we're recording it tomorrow. We're recording it tomorrow. So if you want something to cheer you up, we've got a special guest on. You'll like it. You'll enjoy it if you're a United fan. So please.
Yeah, one of my favourites. Can't wait. And what a time to fucking discuss it as well after that game.
It's going to be an hour-long podcast. This fucking...
Oh, my God. Anyway, big up your legends. We'll see you in the next one. Man City in the FA Cup final. Let's see what happens, shall we? Oh, my God.
Peace.
See you in a bit. Peace.
We want Blaze out and we want Blaze out. We want Blaze out and we want Blaze out. We want Blaze out.